Okay, so today's lesson we're going to talk about point slope form. So today we're going to write and graph linear equations in point slope form, and we're going to analyze different forms of a line to interpret the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so we've spent some time with slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. This is the second form of linear equations we're going to study. So this is 2-2 point slope form. So we want to know what happens if I don't have the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, I can't use slope-intercept form. Well, we're going to use something different. Okay, we're going to use point slope form. So how do I write the equation of a line using any point? We're going to use the slope formula to find the slope using a point. Okay, x1, y1, and just any old random point, x1, or x, comma, y. Okay, so this is not x2, y2, it's just plain old x and y. That means we're going to leave x and y alone. So we all know our slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, we know that the x1 and the y1 is a specific point. We have specific numbers for those. Okay, the x and the y are just any plain old x and y. They're placeholders. So we're just going to keep x and y instead of putting x2 and y2. Now, if I want to, I can get rid of this fraction. Right? I don't like the denominator here. So if I multiply both sides by the bottom, this x minus x1, these cancel right here. And I get m times the quantity x minus x1 equals y minus y1. We normally write the equation with the y's first, but this is how we get point slope form. Okay? Really cool, just comes straight from our slope formula. So if we just know one point in the slope, we can write the equation of a line using any point and the slope in point slope form. Okay, so we don't need the y-intercept. We just need any old point. So this makes it a little easier depending on your scenario. So why can it be helpful to have point slope form in addition to slope-intercept form? Well, using point slope form allows you to write the equation of a line without knowing your y-intercept. Okay, we can use any 2 points on the line to write the equation. Okay, so let me give you an example here. If I had the equation y minus 1 equals 3 times x plus 4. Okay, describe the steps needed to find your y-intercept of this graph. Okay, basically, how would I convert this to slope-intercept form? Well, I know I got to get y by itself. But before I do that, probably should distribute first. Okay, so I would distribute. Get y minus 1 equals 3x plus 12. Okay, and remember, y-intercept, we just need y by itself, so add 1 to both sides. Y equals 3x plus 13. Can you tell me what the y-intercept is? Absolutely. Remember, y-intercept is just b. Y-intercept is 13. So to get from point slope to slope-intercept, all you do is distribute and get y by itself. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, so let's get on to actually writing something in point slope form. So a line with a slope of 1/2 passes through the point 3, negative 2. What form can you use to write the equation of the line? And what is the equation in that form? Okay, so notice here, I don't have the y-intercept. So I could do y equals mx plus b, but that ends up being a little bit more work than what we're used to. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to use point slope. So just a reminder, point slope is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, now remember, slope, that's just m. I have a point, that's just x1 and y1. So now, all it is plug and chug. Okay, so y minus, instead of writing y1, I'm going to come up here and write negative 2. Instead of writing m, I know m, that's just 1/2. Okay, leave x alone, minus, what's x1? Oh, x1's just 3. Okay, looking at this, is there anything I can clean up? Absolutely, don't like the minus and the negative, so that turns into y plus 2 equals 1/2 x minus 3. And this is how you do point slope form. Now, it's going to be super, super tempting to want to distribute and keep going to get it to y equals mx plus b. But stop here. This is point slope form. Do not go any further. Okay, this is your final answer. And that's it. Okay, so it's your turn. Oh, actually, I lied. We're going to do this one together. What's the equation of the line that passes through the point -4, 1, and 2, 3? So again, we're going to work it with point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Uh-oh, I don't have m. Is that going to be an issue? Absolutely not, because we can solve for m. Remember, slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we get those from the points. Remember, first point, x1, y1. Second point, x2, y2. So let's just plug and plug. y2 is 3, minus y1 is 1, over x2, just 2, minus x1 is -4. Okay, that equals 3 minus 1 is 2, minus a negative turns into plus a plus, 2 plus 4 is 6. Again, I don't like fractions that aren't reduced, so reduce it 1/3. Okay, so I know what m is now. Okay, so from here, pick a point. All we need is 1 point. I personally like to go for points without the negatives, so that's going to be my y, x1, and y1. So now all it is plug and chug. Y minus, instead of writing y1, I'm going to write 3, equals, instead of m, I'm going to use this 1/3, times x minus 2. Or if you don't like that point, you can use the other point. Y minus 1 equals 1/3 times x minus -4. But instead of writing minus a negative, I'm just going to make it plus 4. Okay, either one of these answers is correct. Okay, those are both the same line. All right, so now it's your turn. You're going to write an equation of the line that passes through the point 2, -1, and the point -3, 3. Okay, so please pause the video and try this problem. Okay, so reminder, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. First step, we've got to find our slope. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so remember x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so y2 is 3 minus y1 is -1 over x2, -3 minus x1 is 2. Okay, again, minus turns into plus plus, so I get 4 over -5. I'm just going to write that as -4/5. Okay, so then from here, you just pick your point and you plug it in. So y minus, if I do this point first, I'm going to do y minus, oh, it's -1, so I'm going to turn it to +1, equals -4/5 times x minus 2. Or you could potentially have y minus 3 equals this -4/5 times x minus, but instead of writing minus a -3, I'm just going to turn it into a +3. Okay, either of the two lines in purple are correct. Okay, so we talked about writing the equation. Let's talk about graphing now. Okay, so we want to find the graph of y minus 3 equals -2/3 times x plus 1. So the first thing we like to start with is, normally when we're doing slope-intercept form, is the y-intercept. However, we don't know the intercept here. So our job is to pick the point from the equation. Now this is the hardest part of graphing in point slope form. We got to get our x and our y. Remember, our x and our y are right with the x and the y in the equation. The big thing to remember, though, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, these negative signs right here and here make the points the opposite of what you see. So when I pull my x coordinate out, it's a positive 1 here. My x coordinate is actually going to be -1. Okay, because remember, if I had plus, it's really minus a negative, so I need that negative to come out. Okay, and I see the -3 here. It's the opposite of what I see, so the point is -1, +3. Okay, you got to be very careful here. When I pull the point out, it's the opposite of what you see. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot this point. -1, 3. -1, 2, 3. Okay, The next thing we're going to do is use our slope to find a second point. Okay, so what is my slope again? Well, slope's just this number right here. So m equals negative 2/3. What does that tell me to do? It tells me to go down 2, right 3. So I'm going to go down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Okay, or if I don't want to go down and right anymore, I can go up 2, left 3. So up 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. Up 2, left 3. Okay, and step 3, connect your dots. And that's all there is to it. Okay, pretty easy. Hardest part is right here. The point is the opposite of what you see. Okay, your turn. Please pause the video and try this. Okay, remember the first step is to pick your point. So remember y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. My point is the opposite of what I see. So I see a negative 3, so my x-coordinate is going to be a positive 3. And I've got a positive 2 with my y, so it's the opposite. It's going to be a negative 2. So the first point I want to sketch is 3, negative 2. So 1, 2, 3, negative 2. Next, I use my slope. Remember, the slope is the number in front of the parentheses. That tells me go up 1, right 2. Okay, so up 1, right 2. Okay, if I don't want to keep going up and right, I can go down 1, left 2. So down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. And finally, all I need to do now is connect my dots. And there you have it. That's what your graph should look like. All right, let's talk about a word problem now. An event facility has a banquet hall that can hold up to 250 people. The price for a party includes the cost of the room rental plus the cost of a meal for each guest. Marissa is planning an event for 75 people. She has budgeted $1,200 for the party. Will it be enough? Well, let's take a look at the graph. Okay, notice the fork shows you how much money for how many guests. Okay, so it looks like I've got points here. This looks like the point 50, 725. This looks like the point 100, 1325. Okay, 150, 1925, 200, 2525, 250, 3125. Okay. Notice I do not have my y-intercept. Okay. So let's come up with an equation to see if we can figure out if we have 75 people, if $1,200 is enough. Okay, so we need to determine which form of the linear equation is more useful. Is it useful to use slope-intercept or point-slope? Again, I don't see a y-intercept, so I probably want to use point-slope. So I need a point and I need a slope. So let's start with the slope. Okay, so m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Well, I got 2 points right here. I wrote them in purple. Let's call this x1, y1, and this guy x2, y2. Let's plug stuff in. So y2, 1325, minus y1, 725, divided by x2, 100, minus x1. That's equal to 600 divided by 50, which is equal to 12. Okay, there's that. So let's do point slope now. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Oh, there's a point right here. Let's plug in what we know. So y minus y1 was 725 equals m, 12, times x minus 50. Okay, there's my equation. Let's see what the question asks us again. Okay, remember the question says she is planning an event for 75 people. She has budgeted $1,200 for the party. Will it be enough? Well, okay, number of guests, so this would be my x, this would be my y. Let's plug in our x and our y and see what happens. Okay, so x is 75 and y is 1200. Okay, so I know 75, 1200. That's what we want to know. So let's plug and chug. So my y is 1200 minus 725, and hopefully that's going to equal 12 times 75 minus 50. Okay, so remember, this is the money, this is the guests. Okay, so 1200 minus 725. That gives me 475. Equals 12 times 25. Okay, so 475. If you have 12 quarters, how much money do you have? You have 300. Okay, so this is saying she has more money than she needs, right? Okay, because is $1,200 enough for 75 guests? Well, 75 guests is going to cost me that I still have a little bit of leeway. So yes, $1,200 is enough for 75 guests. Okay, I want more money than the people. So here's the equation again. Y minus 725 equals 12 times x minus 50. I want you to rewrite that in slope-intercept form. Okay, and then we'll talk about what the y-intercept means. Okay, so pause the video and please try this. Okay, so if I was doing this, first thing I would do is distribute. Okay, gotta get y by itself, so add this 725. So y equals 12x plus 425. So what's my y-intercept here? That is just 425. So let's take a peek back on the graph. Okay, y-intercept 425, about right in here. What does that represent? Well, I have 0 guests, and it cost me $425. What did I pay for? So the party includes the cost of the room rental plus the cost of a meal for each guest. So the cost of a meal per guest, that would be your slope. Okay, and that was $12. Okay, it costs $12 to feed each person. So if I have 0 people, that costs me $425. So that is really the cost of the room rental. Okay, so this y-intercept is the cost of the room rental. And you can tell that because you are paying for 0 meals. Okay, and that's all I've got for point slope. Okay, so just a reminder, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's useful when you know the slope and a point. Okay, if you don't have the y-intercept, use point slope for it. Okay, and remember to graph, we use the point, so the opposite of what we see, stick it on a graph, and then use our slope to find the next point. Okay, so homework tonight, you're going to do page 67, problems 12, and then 15 through 33 odd. As always, please be ready to ask questions. Hope you guys have a great day.